Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Gala, seeing what's going on. Main reason I'm covering this is because I got a lot of requests from my community members just asking why I took the trade that we did here recently when we took a nice healthy, 94% from Gala in only 4 days there with a swing trade. That was a 10x leverage trade. And just keep in mind that there's a lot of proof here showing us that the bottom should be in. Okay, so we're going to talk about that and much more and help you understand what's going on. We're going to draw out some Fibonacci retracement levels, make sure we're up to date on this, and then also concurrently, set out some new trend lines too to make sure we're kind of pay attention to this ascending trend that is so far so good. All right, so again, if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, hope you can learn something here today. All right, so big picture here, we'll summarize as to why I took the trade previously and near the end here. But what I want to start with, of course, is more important, this key level support. Okay, now this support level here previously was established as a resistance and support zone, while the price did come all the way down to roughly 1.5 cents, 1.55. We have since seen the price action bounce off this level. Okay, so 2.7 is essentially almost exactly 2.7 cents is the new bottom. All right. Now the reason why that's important to recognize is because that is establishing higher lows in the overall sense here. Even though this is a very large daily time frame, we look at the monthly, you'll see this is a higher low. Okay, that's a positive sign. And the main reason why I like that is because it gives us that proof that the bottom, in my opinion, is probably in. And the main reason why that is the case is because we came down so low on RSI here at 30 that the probability of the price going any lower at that time was extremely low. Now, we could come back down and go lower. Don't get me wrong, that could be potential. But the fact that we have a MACD convergence here, and anytime we've seen this previously, the price has done very well for itself. We're primed and ready to go for a nice, sweet long position. Okay. So again, I think a secondary long would be appropriate. I'm considering that, but we'll take a look, of course, at some key factors and see what's going on. All right. So again, main reasons why I think we're looking good here. Let's talk about a few other factors here too. And we got to recognize that we got rejected pretty hard by the 20-day SMA yesterday. We've also got the 200-day SMA here as well, trending close to about 3.6 cents. So that will be a point of contention once we get there. For now, though, we got to expect that if we retest this 20-day moving average, we have a chance to break it because we're working on an ascending trend here. And you'll see that on the smaller time frames with moving averages. But the key takeaway here also is the fact that the money flow is increasing. And even though the RSI is coming down, that's because Bitcoin is correcting itself here today. There's a great chance that we'll see this retested at 50 on the RSI. So I'm going to be paying close attention to this level here. Once we break above 50 on the RSI, I think it's go time for Gala. Again, we got some pretty significant benefits here, but for the most part, bullish on the daily. 4-hour time frame, we can also see this most recent 4-hour candlestick is kind of showing not a lot of strength, but you got to keep in mind, Bitcoin also looks like it wants to drop. Okay? So with that being said, Gala is going to drop with it for the moment because it is still fairly aligned in the overall sense of things. Okay, so if we take a look at this moving average, or more so importantly, this ascending trend, we can see the more recent low here essentially, and kind of holding here. In other words, that's implying that we have higher lows continuing. So as long as we bounce off this level about 3.13, we should be in good shape here for Gala to continue higher. Again, this is pending Bitcoin doesn't take a massive dump between now and then, right? You got to recognize Bitcoin drops, we're out of the ballpark. But that being said, Bitcoin is looking actually fairly decent today. If we can close above 27.3, we'll be in pretty good shape. Again, check out my Bitcoin video if you're kind of curious how that works. It's important if you're going to be a good trader to know what Bitcoin's doing at all times. It's kind of like the big dog. I know it sucks, but that's just the way it goes. All right, so take a look at the moving averages here. This is the one thing that I like here, okay? And I want to talk about this because we are ascending positively with this trend, right? Now, I don't just draw these lines arbitrarily on the chart. They are essentially established based on higher lows. That being said, though, if you can see here, the 50-day SMA, this nice orange line, that's running concurrent with the trend line, telling us that the trend is our friend. So the price does pull back to that level. We should be able to see a bounce and a continuation higher because, as you can see already here so far, how well the price has performed above the 50-day SMA, it's a very good sign. Keep in mind, we do have the 200 working its way down, and if the 50 intersects upwards, that'd be a golden cross, a very positive sign, but we're not there yet. But leading into that, we got to expect that this could be a potential resistance for us. Once again, we saw that on the daily as well. So the daily and the 4-hour both have a very similar moving average 200 or 200-day SMA, and it's both trending right around that 3.6 mark. Okay, so just know it'll be probably pretty difficult to break through that at first. What we could very well see is a continuation here, an inevitable break to the upside. That's what I'd like to see. But again, we can't always be, beggars can't be choosers, right? All right, so let's take a look at this most recent support level. We'll go ahead and pull that out as well. That does reaffirm. We have a nice support here at about 0.5. And once again, 0.5 for the win. That is essentially a strong support level in most cases. Anytime you see an increase of a coin that does a fairly decent amount in a short amount of time, such as that 94% we took in that 4-day period, you can see the price action likely to bounce or magnetize itself to that level. Okay, so it makes perfect sense that we're retesting this 0.5 level here on Fibonacci, which is once again roughly the 3.1 mark on the time, or sorry, on the price. Okay, so what does all that mean? Well, let's take a look at a couple of other factors and summarize here. We're holding above 50 on the RSI for now, and again, this kind of reaffirms the fact that we have a decent amount of support here. So hoping that for that to hold, we do have a MACD divergence here on the horizon, which isn't very great. This is a disadvantageous sign for it as a swing trader, specifically on the 4 hour. So that tells us we have momentum to the downside now, and that these potential support levels that I've talked about may not hold. Okay, so that's important. All the more reason for us to maintain and see how the price action continues over the next 12 to 24 hours. So to me, I'm going to want to kind of revisit this here in the next, just say, I'm probably going to check it out tomorrow morning when I wake up, which is essentially 24 hours later. But my goal is to essentially get in at 3.1 mark, ideally to be able to buy that dip or that bounce. Okay. Again, the MACD divergence is the only thing that's kind of concerning me here, because oftentimes once it diverges, it can continue. And you got to keep in mind, we've been converging for some time, and it makes sense for what goes up comes down eventually, right? So just keep that in mind. That is a potential negative here, but still mostly positive on the 4 hour. Okay. So if you're a long-term holder, wouldn't be terrible to consider an entry right now. Just keep in mind, Bitcoin is on the struggle bus for the moment, trending right around 27.1, 27.2. Okay, so let's go to the hourly and work our way down, or basically just call it a day here. This is pretty much the main thing I wanted to show you here. So take a look at TD sequential. We can see we came down to a 9 and got a nice little bounce here. Okay, but it couldn't bounce very hard because it overextended itself previously. Right, we basically had 2 9s in TD sequential at like 24 to 48 hours of continuation to the upside. Makes sense we're pulling back. We're making parallel highs here along with parallel lows. So we're kind of range bound here, almost working ourselves into like a really ugly W or M pattern. I'm kidding, I'm pulling that out of my ass, but what I'm getting at is the fact that we're range bound and we're stuck in between 3.1 and 3.3, okay? Until we break above or below, we should probably consider holding on and waiting on the sideline. Okay? Now you could take a risky position and take a long here and buy the dip. That is potential. That actually has greater potential for upside than downside. But again, that's kind of just a hope and a prayer, right? We want to wait for confirmation. And to me, confirmation is a candlestick closure today and preferably tomorrow above the 3.1 mark to ensure that we're in good shape there and this support level does actually hold. We want to ensure this ascending trend is going to continue. There's a good chance it will, but we cannot be certain because once again, a lot of this hangs on the balance of Bitcoin having a really terrible day. Bitcoin sucks sometimes. Other coins suck with it. It's just the only way around it. So that being said, take a look at the Ichimoku cloud. We're now below the cloud here too. This is another concern, another reason why we'd want to wait for confirmation. Main reason why is because the cloud will inevitably average itself out down as the price comes down, right? And if that cloud comes down and the price goes sideways, it'll naturally, inevitably be right above it and work its way up again. Okay, so that's all the more reason to wait until this time tomorrow to consider entry. Yes, it could take off, but it could also drop too. And why take a trade when you don't know full well what's going on? Don't get me wrong, there's never 100% guarantee it's going to go in either direction, right? But when I had that confirmational sign from before, when we were holding above that key level support, and I took that long position for our community, there's a reason why I took that, because I had confidence and I waited for confirmation. So the end of the story here is that you want to wait a little bit longer and be patient, because then and only then will you be able to see rewards like this if you have the full-on confirmation. We're not there yet. Okay? Let's wait for a breakup or breakdown below 3.1 or 3.3 and see where we go from there. We'll reevaluate. I will cover this again here tomorrow. We'll double check and triple check everything, make sure it looks good. But I think at this point, it's probably best to kind of hang tight and wait for the next big move. But a big move is on the horizon. There's no doubt about that. This is a coin that can absolutely take off, especially with what happened here recently with the fundamentals roughly 3 trading days ago. Okay? Big stuff there. And obviously, if you're not familiar with that, do your own research, of course. But I thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you learned something. Obviously, like, follow, subscribe the whole 9 yards if you can. Help us grow our channel. And thank you so much again for joining me. You want to become a better trader? Be part of our Crypto Cash Premium crew. We got day trades coming here soon with some awesome features with new exchanges. CryptoCash.tag is a site where you can register. Link down below. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.